Alright, so I was gonna review a book that I thought was pretty great. It's called Seoul Man, which is the city in South Korea. It's written by Frank Ahrens. And the reason I think this book is fantastic is because my wife's distracting me. Anyway, yeah, so the reason I think this book is great is because it goes through a whole list of personal experiences. This guy spends 3 years working for Hyundai as a basically he's a journalist that washes out, gets picked up, and does something different because journalism's dying because people have the internet. And why the fuck would you pay for someone to take pictures? I mean, everyone has a smartphone, so moving on. So this guy gets ahead of the game. He leaves before he gets fired. He's a can-do guy, which is cool because the world needs more of that. And so he's in Korea, and his wife, who he met late in life, like this guy was a forever bachelor until he turned, I don't know, I think he's like 50 or something when he finally gets married, has no kids. And he leaves the country, and his wife goes and works for like immigration for the United States or something, but on the Korea side. So she spends all her time basically talking to Koreans trying to become Americans, and he spends all of his time with Koreans being Korean, doing Korean things because they want to have someone who understands like Native American English. So that's what he's doing. Now, why I care about this is because this book gives you fantastic insights into Korea. The like most brutal, fucking, super fucking competitive thing I've ever heard of. It's like I think the best example of them being super competitive would be the Koreans have an issue where grandparents are abandoned, and all they're doing, there's like you just see old people in the streets with nothing, trying to like sell tin cans and shit, because they spent every dime they had trying to live as like awesome as possible, just being the most like Gungan style possible people you could imagine. And Gungan's the fucking new nice side of South Korea, or Seoul rather. And then their kids, who are also trying to be as Gungan style as possible, fucking they have no time for their parents, so they got to get all their money and spend as much as they can to live as good as they can. And that's like an example of just how ridiculously competitive some Koreans can be. It's fucking fantastic. Yeah, moving on. Now, how this book changed, like how I looked at things, was after I'd gone through it and shared this guy's experiences and how he ran his family. He basically winds up coming to the conclusion that he really needs to spend more time with his family and things like that. And after living like the absolute non-stop, 12-hour days, killing it Korean style, making, big victories, leaps and bounds, and seeing how a top-down, like they basically have like royalty. That's how their companies are set up. So it'll be like, the patriarch will have a first son, and they will become the patriarch, and their first son will become the patriarch, and everyone just agrees with that, and it's actually effective. You just wind up with, people that's thinking long term, not short term. That's a big difference in Korea. And hold on, got a cat. And so in can't think cat. Anyway, so with Korea, they've got kind of an authoritarian thing. Like you want harmony over being an individual. So long as you're part of the team, doing what you can to, work with everyone else, you're doing great. And when you stand out, you're all fucked up, because then you take it away from what can be achieved through just driving together. So, that gave me some perspective. Worthwhile having a unity. I don't know. I was in the military, so that makes sense to me. Shut the fuck up and work is not a bad plan. And let's see here. Although, Korea wasn't all like just fucking super hardcore, super, like soulless harmony. It also has, what are some of the things that stood out? I remember one time his boss offered him vacation, and he took it, and that was actually seen as kind of rude, because it was like, well, you should have, considered the team and things like that. Just because the company will give you an opportunity to go do something doesn't mean you should abandon the company. And that's something that's different from, the way we would see things. If I asked the boss for a day off, he said yes, I'd be fucking out of there. And just because I have the ability to take a day off doesn't necessarily mean you should, which in Korea, they put that, it's more down on you. Like, if you need to leave, they're not going to stop you. However, it's a scumbag thing to do to fucking abandon the team. And the big ideas of this book would be like, you could understand the Confucian-style culture mixed with the Korean fucking huyes. And Korean huyes is because they've got authoritarian China on one side, and they've got fucking imperial murderous Japan on the other, historically speaking. And Korea just basically got the shit kicked out of it every fucking day of the week, forever. And the result was they just take no fucking shit. They're just all in all the time. Because why the fuck would you do anything else if you're surrounded by people who are vastly stronger and outmanned, outgunned, and whatnot? So they just work goddamn hard, and they've done very well in the modern age. Good book.